so. I think it's going to be the greatest bill ever passed, even for you as an example. Tremendous amount of homeland security. Tremendous amount. It's going to keep the border secure because, you know, we have it secure now, but we need to build more wall. I built almost 600 miles of wall. We need more wall. And all of that's covered in this bill. This bill is amazing. It's an amazing bill for Florida, too. Really great.
You've heard the concerns about the Medicaid, though, Mr.
No,
President.
we're not going to be playing with that.
An estimated 11.8 million Americans who use their
The
coverage. Are you
Democrats have
breaking
it
your
wrong.
promise?
Waste, fraud, and abuse. In fact, if you look at what's gone on, we've gone way back. We take care of Medicaid, we take care of Medicare. They will blow Medicare and Medicaid because they have no idea what they're doing. Just like they don't have any idea what they did on the border, they have no idea. Medicaid is in big trouble with the Democrats.
So you can promise anyone who loses their health care coverage that is because of waste, fraud, and abuse?
Waste, fraud, only waste, fraud, and abuse, which is what everybody does. We'll see what happens. You can watch it again. Well, it's going to be a very quick celebration. We had a great hit. It was a obliteration. They now turns out it wasn't. You know, they demean CNN mostly in the New York Times, fake New York Times. They demean these great soldiers. They went over there 17 hours flying, and they hit bullseye after bullseye after bullseye. It all blew up. Everybody saw it. Then they get back, and CNN said, "Oh, they did okay, but maybe it wasn't." It was beyond obliteration. They can't. Nobody can even get down there. The tunnels are busted. Everything covered really well. It was a total and complete obliteration, and we should celebrate these heroes. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing them on. We're bringing them to Florida or to the White House. I gave you a choice.
Mr. President, there's going to be a new bill called Make American Elections Great Again, forcing the U.S. Census Bureau to redo the census to actually get an account of how many Americans approved for citizenship are in our area, in our country, redistricting some of the House districts. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll speak for both of us. We love it. Really like this. I know all about it. We want to bring our elections back. The election in 2020 was rigged, millions and millions of votes. It had to do with COVID and other things, but it really had to do with their crooked people. The Democrats are very good at cheating. And that's why I said too big to do. They tried this one too. But after about 9:02, they gave up too big to rig. Ron would love it. I would love it. Krista would love it. That's what they have to do. They have to bring it back. And we have to look, Ron, they include anybody that happens to be in your state.
California would lose like 5 seats if they did a fair census. And even beyond that, the Biden census gypped Florida of at least 1 seat. We only got 1 seat in the last census. Are you trying to tell me that Florida only had 1 seat in that? We should have had at least 2. Texas should have had another one. That could be the difference in the House of Representatives in the majority. So I would love for them to redo the census for 26. My legislature will redistrict those lines. We'll get it to where it's fair. But as it's right now, this country is not fairly apportioned. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because of that flawed census.
Mr. President,
I think it's going to do very well. A lot of people on television. It's captivating. Everybody wants it. It's going to get in. It's going to pass. It's going to be very happy.
Elon Musk is ripping into this bill again. Are you concerned the Republicans are going to be swayed by Musk and his money?
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't think he should be playing that game.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Are they driving? Oh.
Allison, everyone pick up your sticks, please. Come with me.
government working together. And congratulations to the administration. I want you to see it as opposed to waiting for us and then say, how was it? Right? It really is pretty amazing. Did they take the vote yet? How's the vote going? I would normally be home waiting for the vote.
Yes, we would.
Or be in Congress, but I wanted to come down. I hear the vote's going to be good. You'll let me know.
I will let you know,
Mr.
President. What's that? I don't think they've taken the vote yet. Not concluded, but they are
Boy,
taken.
wouldn't that be an upset, huh?
Are you confident that this can get through the House? And is there any wiggle room on your July 4th?
It's the greatest tax cut in the history of our country. And if it doesn't pass, it's the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. That alone, 68% increase as opposed to a massive cut. It's the biggest tax cut issue our country, and everybody gets it.
Mr. President and Madam Secretary, CNN yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that as obstruction of law enforcement. Your response?
Yeah, we're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them for the partnership of family if we can, because what they're doing we believe is illegal.
And they may be prosecuted also for having given false reports on the attack in Iran. You're giving totally false reports. It's totally obliterated, and our people have to be celebrated and come home and say, what do you mean we didn't hit the target? We hit the target perfect. You know, the pilots came home and they said we hit the target perfect. So they may be very well prosecuted for that. What they did there we think is totally illegal. Okay, let's go. Follow us.
You know,
Now, 1 in 32 versus 1 in 20,000. 20,000. What's it? So it's one thing, 1 in 20,000, 20 years ago. Now it's 1 in 16 in California. 1 in 16. Not being that. There's something. Hey, Robert. Where's the skateboard maker?
They actually get all the work.
Good job with it.
It's impressive. Thank you guys for doing this.
You got how many days to do it?
We actually
This is day 9. 24 hours.
I was relentless.
This is like a marathon.
Here's what we do all day long. I've been working with
Yes, really good.
Oh, okay, we're going outside. Watch your step, please. Okay, let's try to be. go to our next stop right this way.
Okay.
Thank you for asking me a question.
There you have it.
Come on, guys.
Check, check. 1, 2.
say he should call the governor, Christie, and I'm sure you'd give him because
I can give him lots of
his state
advice.
is a disaster, and he doesn't do this.
Well, they have the original Alcatraz, so you guys could approve him being able to set one of these up over there. I'm sure the secretary would be happy to do that and provide some. My sense is he's probably not going to bite on that, but I don't know that they'd be able to come in at cost because they tried to do this high-speed rail. They spent like $150 billion, no tracks. We've got a privately funded rail in Florida from Miami to Orlando, cost the taxpayer $0, and it's very successful. So just a much different approach between states.
Hey, Mr. President, when's the first person checking in this beautiful Alcatraz?
It'll cost 100 times more than now. He ought to come here and study this because he could learn a lot.
When's the first person checking into the room, sir?
Tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow, within the next
They
24
have the
hours.
doctors, they have all the professionals.
There's going to be a security sweep because there have been civilians here, so they will sweep this multiple times to make sure there's nothing can be used as weapons or any contraband. And then once that's cleared, then they'll do so. It's really up to Secretary. I know has got people in the queue, and so they'll be ready to receive.
I think our viewers at home should know that this is air-conditioned facility,
Yes,
so
it is.
if any of the news claims they're keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees in here, or 72.
Hey,
Yep.
Biden wanted me in here. Okay, that's it. He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here.
Mr. President, what's your expectation what this will do for the speed and force of deportations?
Well, a lot of things, and they're both telling me that these people come in here, they want to go home, and they want to go home, so we immediately send them home. Where it's appropriate. Now, if somebody's a real killer, we don't send them anywhere. We put them in maximum security. Look, what we inherited from this guy, this incompetent man, and his administration, which wasn't incompetent, it was radical left, lunatic, communist, whatever you want to say. I know most of them. What we inherited should never, ever be forgotten. What they've made us do. This is all because of an open border policy where 25 million people flowed in. From all over the world, from prisons, from all over the world they flowed in. For no reason whatsoever. When I left, we had a very powerful border. We had no problem. He opened it up day one. He just opened the border. People couldn't believe it. They were standing there. What were they doing? They said, go in. That's it. You look at the first day tapes. They opened it up and they said, go in. And that's where all of this began. But this is an amazing thing that they've done here.
But listen, people don't have to come here. If they self-deport and go home, they can come back legally. We will let them come back legally.
And there is a lot of self-deportation.
Yes. But if you wait and we bring you to this facility, you don't ever get to come back to America. You don't get the chance to come back and be an American again and work here. So.
They weren't with us when President and Secretary Kevin and I, we went through the intake. So right when you do the intake, they have the information about voluntary departure. They have the ability. Obviously, you guys are funding that because it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. So even if they get brought to the front doorstep here, they still have an opportunity to just go back voluntarily, and then this way they're
How fast does that take from the minute that, let's say they get in here, they're like, hey, I want to stay here, I want to go back to...
We can put them on a plane that day and take them home. We'll buy their plane ticket, go home, and then they get the chance to come back legally. If they wait and say we're not going to do that,
they can come back legally after a period.
Mr. President, you've talked recently about the idea of finding some way to get farm workforce and service sector workforce, and I think you've discussed somehow a program of people leaving on a sponsorship and coming right back. Can you give us a little more detail about that and why, in the view of some hardliners, it's not
amnesty? We take care of our farmers and hotel workers and various other people. We're working on it right now, and Ron's going to be involved, and you're involved already. So we have a lot of cases where ICE will go into a farm, and these are guys working there for 10, 15 years, no problem. The farmers know. We're going to put it's called farmer responsibility or owner responsibility, but they're going to be largely responsible for these people. And they know these people. They've worked on the farms for 15 years, and all of a sudden, so I have a great, Ron does, Christy does, we have a great feeling for the farmer and for others in the same position. And we're going to give them responsibility for people. And we're going to have a system of signing them up so they don't have to go. They can be here legally. They can pay taxes and everything. They're not getting citizenship, but they get other things. And the farmers need them to do the work. Without those people, you're not going to be able to run your farm.
Mr. President, you and the governor tangled pretty hard in the 2024 election, and you stand here now.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, you stand here now as partners on this effort. How would you describe your relationship, and what future does does
I
Governor
would say it's
DeSantis
a
have?
10.
Excuse me?
I think it's a 10. Maybe 9.9, but it's might be a couple of little wounds. So maybe it's 9. I think we have a 10.
Do you think his wife should run for governor?
We get along great.
Should Casey DeSantis run for governor?
The thing about it is, I endorsed him immediately in January 2024. I raised one of his PACs millions and millions of dollars. And obviously, we saved him a lot of money in Florida because Florida was a deep red state. He didn't even have to do a rally in Florida, whereas 2016 and 20, this was like ground zero. And so we've been, really happy to do that. And then we've worked very well on this and other issues with Florida. And you can call him at any time, and he wants to be helpful for governors. I mean, I can tell you that. We did Hurricane Helene last year. You didn't hear from the president at the time then, but with President Trump, we know immediately. You just make the phone call.
Can we ask a Gaza follow-up question? I'm sorry, like another thing you inherited. How firm are you going to be with Netanyahu about ending the war in Gaza?
Very full, but he wants it to. I will tell you. He's coming here next week. He wants to end it too. We had a tremendous success with Iran. Somebody said, "When are you going to sign?" I said, "Sign? They are so bombed out." Did you see the report issued this morning? The place was decimated. It'll be years before anybody even gets down there. So that's not a priority, but we'll have a report and we'll have whatever we want. We'll get whatever we want from Iran. And I think, and I hope they will have a good, they have massive sanctions right now, biting sanctions. It's going to be very hard for them to do anything with those sanctions. And I look forward to maybe there'll be a time when we get along with them and they can rebuild that country.
But is there a point where you tell Netanyahu, like, you've got to end this now, you got to strike a deal?
Well, he wants to. I can tell you he wants to, and I think we'll have it. I think we'll have a deal next week.
Thank you.
That's what I think.
Mr. President, do you intend to announce your pick for successor to Jay Powell earlier than say, or as early as say this summer or this fall?
Will I do something about who it's going to be?
Yes.
I don't know. Hey, he'd be a good candidate. I do. She'd be a good candidate. Anybody would be better than Jay Powell. No, he's causing us a fortune because he keeps the rate way up. I think it's Trump derangement syndrome personally, but we have a very strong country. We're the strongest country. Look, our country right now is at a level that we haven't seen for 40, 50 years. What we're doing now is nobody's seen anything like it. I told you, I was in the Middle East. The King of Saudi Arabia said to me very strongly, he said, you know what? A year ago you had a dead country. Now you have the hottest country in the world. We do. We have the hottest country in the world. Thank you very much.
I was going to say Syria.
What about other
We'll be seeing it over the next
What about
couple of
construction and other
Also, those type of industries.
Kilmar, Breno Garcia, the first name here.